Alright, let's get our hands dirty and dive into one of my favorite topics, stop-motion animation. So, what is it? Imagine you have a toy robot on your desk. You move its arm just a little bit, a tiny fraction of an inch, and you take a picture. Then you move it again, another tiny bit, and take another picture. You do this over and over and over. When you play all those pictures back really fast, something amazing happens. That robot looks like it's moving all by itself. It's alive. That, my friends, is the fundamental, beautiful, and oh-so-simple secret behind stop-motion animation. It's the magic of creating movement where there is none. One single still image at a time. It's pure, hands-on illusion. This isn't some high-tech computer trick. This is old-school analog magic. It's been around for over 100 years, long before we had fancy graphics cards or rendering farms. Stop-motion is about physically manipulating real-world objects in a sequence. Think of it like a flip book. But instead of drawings on paper, you're using actual, three-dimensional things. Now let's talk about the secret sauce, frames. I mentioned that stop motion is a series of pictures played back quickly. But how quickly? That's where FPS comes in. Think of it as your movie's heartbeat. In early cinema, 16 frames per second, 18 frames per second. Old films look jerky and sped up. It's charming but not lifelike. Industry standard today, 24 frames per second. Let that number sink in. 24. For every second of screen time, an animator must pose the character, take a picture, make a tiny adjustment, take another picture, 24 times. That's 1,440 pictures for 1 minute of film. Staggering. Some animators shoot on twos, one picture per 2 frames. A pose is held for 2 frames. That's 12 distinct poses per second. Still a huge effort. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Imagine a head turn. 2 seconds. 48 frames. Arc of the head turn. Timing of the eyes, slight shift in the shoulders. Each adjustment must be deliberate. So you've got the concept, you understand the frames. But what are you actually animating? This is where the real fun begins, building the world. The stars of most stop-motion films are the puppets. These aren't your average hand puppets or marionettes. They are marvels of miniature engineering. The most sophisticated ones have intricate metal skeletons inside, called armatures. Tiny, articulated ball and socket joints let animators pose them with precision. Joints must be tight enough to hold a pose and loose enough to survive thousands of manipulations. It's a huge mechanical challenge. Once the skeleton is built, the character is fleshed out. All sorts of materials are used. Some puppets, Coraline, Kubo, and the 2 strings, use silicone skin that stretches realistically. Replacement faces, complex mechanical heads give a huge range of expressions and lip syncing. Others are modeling clay like Wallace and Gromit. With claymation, an animator resculpts a face every frame. Expressive but labor-intensive. Materials give each film its unique look and feel. These puppets need a world. Set designers build everything in miniature. Every chair, every table, every teacup, every tree, every building, all handmade. Not dollhouses, fully functional, detailed environments. The level of detail is mind-boggling. Tiny floorboards are laid one by one. Sweaters can be knitted on toothpick-sized needles. Scale is a science. Everything must be proportional. Now let's shine a light, literally, on 2 of the most critical and often invisible elements of stop motion: lighting. Camera stability. You can have the best puppet and the most detailed set in the world, but if your lighting is off or your camera wobbles, the illusion is shattered. In stop motion, lighting does more than just illuminate the scene. It creates mood. It directs the viewer's eye. It defines the shape and texture of the characters and the world. Animators and cinematographers use tiny versions of real movie lights to craft the look of every single shot, and that lighting setup must remain perfectly consistent for the entire duration of the shot. Think about it. An animator might spend days or even weeks on a single scene. If the lighting changes even slightly, maybe a cloud passes over the sun outside the studio window, or a bulb's intensity flickers as it ages, it will be glaringly obvious in the final footage. The light will appear to pulse or flicker on screen, completely breaking the audience's immersion. To prevent this, stop-motion studios are like high-tech caves. They are often windowless, blacked-out rooms where the animators have total control over every single source of light. They have to lock everything down, from the position of the lamps to their exact brightness, to ensure that frame 1 and frame 500 have identical lighting. Equally important is the stability of the camera. The camera is the audience's eye, and that eye must be rock solid. Any accidental bump, nudge, or vibration to the camera or the set will ruin the shot. The puppet will appear to jump or shift unnaturally against the background. To combat this, cameras are mounted on heavy-duty weighted tripods and motion control rigs. The sets themselves are often built on sturdy tables that are bolted to the floor. Animators learn to move with surgical precision, often using long tools to reach into the set and adjust the puppets without touching anything else. They move like ghosts, leaving no trace of their presence behind. This need for absolute consistency is one of the biggest technical hurdles in stop motion. Some studios even isolate floors to kill vibrations. When an animator is in the middle of a scene, the set becomes a sacred space. Often a hot set sign is lit. It's a high-stakes operation where one mistake can waste days. The steady camera and the constant light are the invisible framework that holds the entire magic trick together. Stop motion isn't some newfangled invention. It has a rich and wonderful history that's as old as cinema itself. Willis O'Brien was one of the earliest pioneers. The Lost World, 1925. King Kong, 1933. That giant ape battling biplanes atop the Empire State Building. When audiences saw that, they were seeing something revolutionary. It was raw, powerful, utterly believable. O'Brien proved stop motion could be used for epic spectacle. Creature features. He was a true trailblazer. O'Brien's protege, Ray Harryhausen. For many, Harryhausen is stop motion. His work defined an era of fantasy and adventure films. Think of the skeleton fight in Jason and the Argonauts, 1963. Or the terrifying Medusa in Clash of the Titans, 1981. His technique, which he called dynamation, seamlessly blended live-action actors with his stop-motion creatures. His creations had personality and weight. They weren't just monsters, they were characters. Harryhausen inspired a whole generation of filmmakers: George Lucas, Steven Spielberg. Of course, we can't talk about stop-motion without mentioning Aardman Animations. With their signature style of claymation, they gave us the cheese-loving inventor and his loyal dog, Gromit, the wrong trousers, a close shave. You can literally see the animator's fingerprints in the clay. In more recent times, studios like Leica have pushed the boundaries. Coraline, Paranorman, Kubo, and the Two Strings. They use three-dimensional printing to create tens of thousands of replacement faces for their puppets, allowing for an unprecedented level of subtlety in their facial expressions. If there's one quality that every single stop-motion animator must have in abundance, it's patience. Not just regular waiting in line patience, but a deep, meditative, almost superhuman level of it. This is not a medium for those who crave instant gratification. It's a slow, deliberate, sometimes maddeningly repetitive process. Animators spend their days in quiet, dark rooms, making microscopic adjustments for a fraction of a second of screen time. They play the long game, building a performance one tiny piece at a time. It takes discipline, focus, and a genuine love for the craft. This slow process is where the magic comes from. Because it takes so long, the animator has time to think and to inhabit the character. They're not just moving a puppet, they act through it. Every pose is a choice about mood, intention, personality. Confident, shoulders back, sad, a tiny slump. Those subtle cues make the performance believable. An animator is a storyteller, a sculptor, and an actor. Their stage is the miniature world in front of them. There's a term called boiling. A clay character seems to shimmer even when still. It's caused by fingerprints and resculpting in each frame. Early on it was seen as a flaw, but many now embrace it. That boil is the human touch, a visible trace of the artist's hand. It gives the animation life and warmth beyond slick CG. You can feel the tactile quality, the puppet's clothing texture, the grain of the miniature floor, the way light catches the planes of a face. These are real objects, shot by a real camera. That reality grounds the fantasy. So why, in an age of photorealistic CGI and powerful digital tools, do we keep coming back to stop motion? Why does this century-old technique not only survive but thrive? I think it's because stop motion animation speaks to a fundamental part of us that loves to see magic in the real world. It's not an algorithm creating pixels on a screen, it's a person in a room, painstakingly moving a physical object, coaxing it to life frame by frame. There's an honesty to it, a transparency. We know how it's done. That knowledge amplifies the magic. We appreciate the result more because we can intuit the immense effort behind it. Stop motion has a unique charm that is impossible to replicate digitally. It's perfectly imperfect. It's the slight texture of the clay, the subtle weave of the fabric on a tiny costume, the way a physical set catches the light. These are not flaws, they are features. They are the fingerprints of the artist, the echoes of the human hand. This tangible quality gives the stories a weight and presence different from other animation. It pulls you into its world because you know that world was physically built. It's a handmade dream you can almost reach out and touch. A miniature reality brought to life through sheer force of will. This art form is a reminder of the beauty of patience and dedication. In our fast-paced world, stop motion is an act of defiance. It champions the slow, the deliberate, the methodical. It celebrates that great things take time, that the journey is as important as the final product. Every stop-motion film is a monument to thousands of hours of quiet concentration and collaborative creativity. It's a love letter to making things. That passion shines through in every single frame, inspiring us to slow down and appreciate the craft. Ultimately, the magic of stop motion is the magic of transformation. It's about taking the mundane, a lump of clay, a metal armature, a scrap of fabric, and transforming them into a living, breathing character capable of making us laugh, cry, and cheer. It's a powerful illusion built on a physical truth. It reminds us of being a kid, playing with toys and imagining them coming to life. Stop motion takes that childhood dream and makes it real for everyone to see. And that, right there, is a kind of magic that will never ever get old. It's pure, unfiltered, glorious making.